Hello and welcome to another unit. This is Unit K. This unit is all about circles. We'll be dealing with circles, we'll be dealing with arcs, and lots of things to talk about here. Lots of terminology to start off with. So let's start off with K-1. We'll talk about central angles and arcs. First of all, a circle is the set of all the points equidistant from a given point. So there's your point, center, and all the points equidistant from it create a circle. Some vocabulary here. We have a diameter, which goes all the way across the circle through the center, which you already knew. The radius from the center to the edge, that's half the distance of the diameter. That's the radius. We have something called the central angle. So it's an angle that's created by going from the edge of the circle to the center and then back out to the edge. So this would be a central angle. So there's another central angle located over here. There's a central angle located over here. This is actually half of a circle. That's called a semicircle, half of the circle. So an arc is part of a circle. So this is an arc. This is an arc. A major arc is bigger than half of the circle. A minor arc is less than half of the circle. So this is a minor arc. This is a minor arc. This is a semicircle. If we go from A all the way through B to C, that's called a major arc. And so we have that down here. A minor arc is named by using two letters. RS is a minor arc. We use this little arc over the top of it as a terminology. And then a major arc has to use three letters. So S, starting at S, it goes through T, goes around to R. Use three letters to name a major arc, which is bigger than a semicircle. So it's larger than 180 degrees. So we'll be naming arcs in the homework. Another thing we're going to look at is something called arc measure, and we're going to have some, a formula for this, basically. So the arc measure is the measure of a minor arc. It's equal to the measure of its corresponding central angle. So if this angle is 50 degrees, then the arc, RT, is also 50 degrees. It says so right here. Arc, RT, and angle, RST, both 50 degrees. The other arc you can find, the major arc, TQR, you can find by subtracting that number 50 from 360 degrees, because the entire circle is 360 degrees. So we could find that one by subtracting 360 minus 50. The measure of a major arc is the measure of a related minor arc subtracted from 360. The measure of a semicircle is 180 degrees. Now let's take a look at some other things here. We have adjacent arcs. Adjacent arcs are two arcs that share an endpoint. So arc AB and arc BC added together would give you, the two adjacent arcs. If you add them together, you can find the other arc ABC. So we can add two arcs together. All right. We have another formula, actually two formulas that we will eventually get to. This one is the circumference of a circle. You should already know the formula for a circumference of a circle, but the circumference is simply the distance around a circle. The distance around a circle, and it's given by the circumference equals pi times the diameter, or if you'd rather use r, 2 pi times r. 2 times r is the same as the diameter. I personally like to use the diameter formula, pi times d, but if you want to use 2 pi r, that's certainly fine with me. Arc length, however, is different than arc measure. So the arc measure is simply the angle measure. So whatever the angle measure of this is, both of these would have the same arc measure, but the length of the arc is different. Obviously, the blue arc is longer than the red arc. And so a fraction of the circumference would be the length of the arc. And we'll get into that when we get to some examples. Here's the formula I was telling you about. Arc length. The length of an arc of a circle is the product of the ratio and the circumference of the circle. The ratio is the measure of the arc, that'd be the angle, divided by 360 degrees. So I would write this down in your notes. right here. Put this prominently in display. Put it where you keep your area formulas. So this is going to be arc length. We're going to have one similar to it with sector area in a future section. So arc length will be the measure of the angle, of the central angle, divided by 360 times the circumference 2 pi r or pi d. So make sure you either download these notes or you copy these down, pause the video so that you can copy them down. And there's our notes for this section K-1.